environment objectives in the export value chain. EDB, Export Development Board, together with other relevant stakeholders, assure that Sri Lanka banned its products under the slogan of Sri Lanka, made in Sri Lanka. When you buy a product made in Sri Lanka, you become a valuable partner in a socially responsible export supply chain while consuming product that has contributed to the sustainability of all stakeholders in that product export supply chain. We are very happy to endorse that statement. As you all know, this is the last statement. We have been facing for last 30 years civil war internally. But just after the war, we were like sleeping, and within very few areas you can see is a huge increase of export and import, the trade. So what we are trying to do is we are focusing 3 areas. Number 1 is value, high value, value-added products. Number 2 is market diversification. Number 3 is high-tech. Those are the key factors that we are focusing on to maintain sustainable business in Sri Lanka. Thank you very much for your patience hearing. Thank you.
Thank you, Sri Lanka, for excellent presentation. Now it is floor opening for discussion. So please, who is first? Come first, service basis. So please, India.
Mr. Chairman, firstly, I think the introduction that you made in your first presentation is very timely, and it's actually very consistent with what all of us are doing at this time. But it's just that the transformation that we take at our TPO also depends a lot on the policy transformation of the country and also the level of development of each of our countries. So rightfully, as you said, most of the TPOs have to move beyond export promotion. It's not whether we want to or not, the environment will push us towards that. As an example, we used to think that, we used to debate as to whether trade is a function of investment or is investment a function of trade. These days it doesn't matter because the global economy is so seamless now, you just have to move the barriers to trade and move along with the production value chain and the supply value chain. So in respect of that, we are doing a lot of these changes, but within the confines of what the policy agenda is in each of these our countries. As an example, in Martrade, we never spoke about cross-border investment. It was not our job to worry about investing in Vietnam or in Thailand or in Philippines. But these days, we have to speak about it because you need market access, you have to cross borders, and you have to invest. Then we create a division within the organization called cross-border. And that's when the other TPO becomes a friend. We need to deal with JETRO to find out about what's happening in Japan, or we need to speak to Thailand to find out where are your opportunities. And we then pass over this inquiry to Thailand to say, there's a potential investor coming in. For whatever reason, he is going there, be it because the country has got no labor anymore. We are a classic case. We do not encourage labor-intensive industries because we don't have labor. But why not give it up to Vietnam, Laos, Cambodia, Indonesia? So I think a natural process is occurring, and if we don't take advantage of it, then we will lose out in the whole system. And examples given by Austrade as to being a part of a value proposition, where you're not just exporting Australian products, but you're giving training, HR development. It comes as a package. At the end of it, the end game is you still want to export something out of Australia. Similarly with Kotra, very high-tech, internet-driven. We are also learning from examples of Kotra moving. So I think it's a transition that each of us will be moving along. It's just a matter of how deep we can go into each of these sectors. And last but not least, countries like Sri Lanka, fantastic social enterprises being developed. If agriculture is the way to go and farms are small, why not this be one of those programs that we can look at for countries that need these examples? So I think it's really excellent. in the presentation and what Chairman said, that, yeah, this is the way we will have to go. And last but not least, the free trade agreements will push us this way. And we are one of the strong supporters of free trade agreement. So we will have to move on this agenda. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So, next, please. Thank you, Malaysia, Madrid, Malaysia, truly Asia.
Just one comment, not as co-chair of this meeting, as a participant of this meeting, I'd like to say a few words. Mr. Dembram made a very comprehensive speech as representative of Malaysia described. Those are things that all the members here should address. I would like to, among them, I would like to focus on the investment. As you said, nowadays, the investment and trade cannot be separable. And when this ATPF group was established almost 30 years ago, trade was very simple. But during the last 30 years, the global economic structure has changed. And the investment, particularly FDI, foreign direct investment, has been playing a bigger and bigger role. So it's time for us to address seriously that issue in this ATPF forum. That is what I want to say, I want to emphasize at this moment. In the afternoon session, I will make my speech focusing on that point. Thank you very much.
Yes, this participant has made very good contribution. Okay, so please, next one. We have still time, right? No, I think we cannot, because now, after one or two questions, we have to supply something. Please. Then I'll straight, please. First you.
Thank you. Through the chair, I have a question to the Sri Lankan Export Development Board. You have mentioned about the introduction of good agricultural practices, and also mentioned about the payment of dividend to the stakeholders through the value chain. So whether you are pursuing contract farming in the agricultural field, that is my question. And you have also mentioned about the facilities given to the workers in the apparel sector, that is about the education and also about accommodation, recreational facilities, etc. So what type of facilities you are currently providing to the workers in the apparel sector? Thank you.
Let me answer your first question, that is contract farming. It's very, okay, in short, Sri Lanka known as agricultural country. Our main crops are tea, rubber and coconut. Due to this technical transformation, you know that the product basket has changed over the 10 years. Technology came into the scene, and also our apparel sector became #1 as our exporter. 40% of our export coming from apparel. Tea, rubber and coconut are basically traditional sales. They are living with actually it came from the village hubs. It is not coming from the rural hub. So government has twofold activities and to very much focus on these two sectors separately. You are the right question, apparel and agriculture. Yes, 5 years back, we were talking about Sri Lanka as a cheap labor country. We were talking about cheap energy there. No more cheap energy and no more cheap labor remaining in Sri Lanka. So how do we conduct agriculture sector? Then of course we have to get the technical input into the agriculture center. But how do you reach into the lower end of Sri Lankan rural farmer? Then of course we have to talk about some different concept. So with their skill, with their talent, and with their knowledge of traditionally they have, as TPO, we go into the step by step, we call Divinaguma. Whoever who is, that area, supposing Many people used to do certain products. It is not economically viable. What we did was, is called contract farming. We appointed somebody in that village, and village head, and also with the support of the government, and we developed that home-based units. So one village produce one product, it has the viable economic condition there. That's first answer. And also, we don't give any equipment on subsidy rate, but except manure. Because government, our Sri Lanka government decided to give manure to rural villages in a highly subsidized rate, because just to come up in that particular segment. That is very focused. Apparel is a success story. If you really know, if you really want to know the Sri Lankan success story, 100% of the raw materials are bringing from outside. We add value in Sri Lankan base, and we re-export. To do that, we want to get the labor willingness. Our literacy rate is 97%. Our skilled labor force is very high. Sri Lanka has very skilled labor force. Today, 5 years before, our GDP rate is about 2,200. Today, 3,800. Our aim is for 2020 by $7,000. So when we are having that aim, you cannot expect labor. How do we keep all this labor intact is basically providing facilities, and just to ensure the recognition, and also provide, there are all sort of recreation activity. Who wants to go for that trade if you don't get the return? So Sri Lankan government has entrusted, when you are in this field, you are secured all these other activities. You are secured of your working time, you are secured your family time, family life, you are secured of your return on investment, you are very well looked after. So based on that, it's a huge list. I'm so sorry, I will give you a little late what are the success story, and also technological and skills, and also standards. So we are talking about those are the two factors that we are practicing. Those are the two practicing things that given we as the results. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. Perhaps more observation. I was very interested in the COTRA presentation. And part of our role as TPOs is to provide information and insights, and to provide referrals, and to match businesses. But of course, the way we do that now is quite different. And I'm sure in your markets that your exporters are wanting to contact your trade commissioners or your market people 24/7, and they want an answer. They want an answer on this, and they want information to be timely and accurate. And compiling that information as TPOs, and deciding how to make that available, and how to make it available in a timely manner, I think is one of our next big challenges, because otherwise we face a scenario where they can go to other service providers or go directly to market themselves, perhaps armed with less information or less capability. And it's a challenge for us, I think, to keep ahead in how we can deliver good information that will better facilitate their opportunity to make a more appropriate export in the right way. Or when they do enter a market, they enter the market with the right information about customs or regulations or appropriateness, which is a very important part of our role. So I was interested in the COTRA presentation because Austrade is struggling in ourselves as to how we should, what information we should collate and make available to our exporters, and then how do we do that? And I think we're way behind pretty well any private business organisation that is attempting to do something similar. So I just think that's a challenge for us all in how we stay ahead of delivering real-time information, point to point, person to person, and how we make that more effective. Thank you.
Okay, so please.
Thank you, Chair. I also have a question about the Koreans' exercise. I find the Koreans' COTRA's report is very, very interesting. The main message is that the COTRA provide information through the information sharing, so that the COTRA can provide customer with easy access to market informations. I'm just curious. I think the whole exercise is very, very beneficial and very, very constructive. I'm just wondering, what kind of a customer, so-called customer, or what kind of a business can be benefit through this kind of information networking or information sharing? Is it many SMEs, or I guess it is the SME who are the main beneficiaries to such excellent networkings? And I would like to know, do you have any kind of evaluations, and how effective this network can help your customer and also in what aspect, in what way? Thank you.
Is there any? Please.
Yes, thank you for your questions. And regarding your first questions, we are focused on SMEs rather than big companies, conglomerates, and so our information service is oriented for the SMEs because they are lack of a persons who is specialized in market information, and so we provide overseas market information for them. And regarding your second question, as the Ms. Kim has presented, we just started our new information service, so we should wait for the customer response, and so we are now planning how we get a response from the customers and how we evaluate our services. So I cannot tell you the evaluation at the moment. Thank you.
Any other? Okay. As a also participant, I will not just ask question because I have a lot of questions, but I will ask during our face-to-face meeting. But I appreciate it very much to first three presentation. And when I was just listening to their presentation, I was thinking, okay, first what I will do is first I will read, because I did not read, and when I read, usually I understand. So that means that my eye is more developed than my ear. And second, I was thinking that I will give to my staff task to analyze each presentation, then report to me later on when you will leave, and what we should do, and what we should take from you as good ideas. I know just a little bit about this Kotra house trade in Sri Lanka, but I just realized that we still underutilizing your capacities. So that is the most important, how to, utilize this collected capital. This is very good capital to gain from each other. For example, I know that Kotra has a very good ICT-based kind of networking system, if I am not. And I remember in the Austria, for example, some years ago, was sharing with us on this performance measuring. It is very early, but I think it is still on agenda, for example. And I was wondering how, for example, Austria, as a resource-rich country like Mongolia, succeeds to become as a service 95%, and how they, for example, avoided resource, so-called Dutch disease and resource cures, and that is very important for my country. In Sri Lanka, social enterprise, that is a modern trend, so to say. And this is very important for micro-enterprise, because in our economy, like Mongolia and Sri Lanka, in many other Asian economies, the informal sector is a lot portion. For example, by some estimation in Mongolia, it is almost 22% to GDP. So how to utilize so huge human capital so that to bring them to good shape and to good path. And in Sri Lanka, in this field, the Sri Lankan still important, for example, as I earlier said, that this is export promotion tool is interested. A month ago, I gave task to one of my division chief that she should write more than 100 letters to all export promotion agencies. But I left ATFP members and we wrote to Europe and the others. Why? Because we should gain what they are doing. We should visit their websites. So I think from this presentation, at least we had good food for thought. And now we will have real food. And we will go for our lunch. Thank you for all your presentation and thank you for good patience. Thank you.
Please, if I could have your attention, please meet your licensed officers who will guide you to the Best Western Premier Toshin Hotel. And lunch will be on 25th floor at the Premier Lounge at the hotel. And please meet your licensed officers again at the hotel by 1:15 and enjoy your lunch. And we will see you at 1:30 for session 3. Thank you for your attention.
And one thing, because we will just walk, and I think we will guide you because traffic is sometimes very dangerous. So you should be careful.
Just stretching your legs while we was walking from the hotel, from the lunch. So now let's start the session number 3, plenary session on the regional economic partnership in promoting foreign direct investment. On this session, we have 3 speakers, 3 TPOs, CCPIT, EPB Bangladesh, JETRO. So may I request CCPIT to start with the presentation.
Okay, thank you. It's always difficult to speak after lunch. And, as I hope that everybody has stretched your legs, but not really for the mouth. Good afternoon, everybody. Chairman of JETRO, Chairman of Mongolian Chamber of Commerce. It's really a very good pleasure for CCPIT to participate in this TPO meeting. And first of all, I would like to thank the Mongolian Chamber of Commerce as well as the Secretariat of TPO to organize this meeting. Actually, I'm not going to follow the slides because some of the things has already been discussed this morning. The first remarks I would like to make is that this morning the chairman of Mongolian Chamber of Commerce has really raised a very good question. The question of the role of TPO in the new area or new business environments. And we have a very good discussion even in the luncheon table. And so with the integration of business around the world, around the region. So it has been always very good to ask what is the role of TPO to promote the business of one country or one region, and how to promote, how the TPO can more actively facilitate the trade and investment and other business among the regions. So with this in line, actually, I will just share some experiences of CCPIT in the last several years. What is the focus of CCPIT in promoting business between China and the rest of the region? There's three focuses, actually, CCPIT has been actively and is still undergoing how to promote the business. One is have been actively involved in the trade and investment facilitation, which has been not so good at with full CCPIT when it was established in 1952, because most of these last period, the CCPIT has also been active in organizing trade fairs, matchmaking seminars, this kind of very effective and traditional tools to promote trade and later on investment. But with the integration, especially with the fast globalization among the regions, CPIT realized provide some of the basic framework as a whole to enlarge the business. So in the last several years, CPIT has been more involved in the trade and investment facilitation. Domestically, CPIT is trying to have much closer dialogues, for instance, with the American Chamber of Commerce, EU Chamber of Commerce, as well as the Japanese Chamber of Commerce in China, to see how the business investment environment in China looks like to foreign investors and foreign business. And we try to seek advices and ideas or even comments or even criticism from these business circles in China, and then pass these messages to the government to reshuffle the policies relating to investment and trade. And that's how we have been very closely working with these large multinationals as well as these Chamber of Commerce in China. And for bilateral and multilateral, for this trade and investment facilitation, we have been trying to establish, for instance, bilateral or multilateral business council to see what is the business environment between, for instance, between China and Mongolia. We are very happy that Mongolian Chamber of Commerce, National Chamber of Commerce, has been also establishing a council which is particularly to improve the business relations with China, and we are trying to also to establish a counterpart organization so that these two organizations can be sit down together to see, besides matchmaking seminars we are going to organize, and particularly we are interested to see what is the problems existing in developing trade and investment between our two countries. So this is one of the focus we have been doing for trade and investment facilitation. And the second, we have been more actively in promoting and marketing regional economic cooperation arrangements, FTA, because CCPIT, although it's not a policymaker or directly involved in negotiating with FTA matters, but we have been realizing it's very important to educate or marketing this concept of FTA among the Chinese companies. For instance, China has been developing FTA for the last 10 years, and we are, with investigating, we found that a lot of Chinese companies are not aware of this kind of arrangement. So this, we have been acting with running seminars, even with door-to-door consultating to marketing this kind of economic cooperation, regional, even bilateral arrangements. And also in this regard, we have been organizing some big events to promote or marketing these kind of arrangements. For instance, with the ASEANs, we have been organizing in Nanning, Guangxi province, the China ASEAN Export. I believe some of the delegates here has been attending in the last several years the Nanning Fair, and along with the fair we have the China ASEAN Business Summit, which is in parallel to promote more awareness among the businesses. What is the preferential arrangements China ASEAN countries has been doing? And the third, actually working, we has been actively or more interested in promoting is for better infrastructure. This probably is a fashion or is necessity, whatever. The connectivity between the regions. Probably among the Chinese speaking regions, we always have a saying that if a family wants to be rich, you build a road first. I think this is also true for every country and for every region. So that's why the Chinese government, as well as the CPRT, has been promoting this kind of concept, as well as helping private business to be more involved in this building of infrastructures. And that's basically my 3 or 4 comments sharing with all delegates, and thank you very much. Hope we're still on time.
Thank you very much. Now, I would like to invite, just a moment, Export Promotion Bureau of Bangladesh. Please, floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Distinguished CEOs of TPOs and representatives of different TPOs. I have given a paper in the folder. You may please see it, but in order to make short, I'm just highlighting the points regarding investment in Bangladesh. There is a locational advantage for Bangladesh. The country is bordered by India on 3 sides, and one side is covered by the Bay of Bengal and Myanmar. It's a gateway to the SAARC, South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation, and countries of the ASEAN, Association of Southeast Asian Nations. So this is an advantage for Bangladesh to attract foreign direct investment. Some highlights on macroeconomic factors. A steady average annual GDP growth of 6.21% and above during the last 5 years. Inflation has been kept in low single digit. Exports have been gradually shifting from traditional goods to more value-added and non-traditional items. Emphasis has been put on manufacturing sector, sound macroeconomic fundamentals, stable exchange and interest rates, low debt, and high foreign currency reserves. I have shown export-import balance of trade. I will be skipping most of them. And in 2013-14, the export income of Bangladesh is 30.19 billion against its import of US dollar 40.69 billion. Here is a percentage of export against imports. So in 2013-14, the export is actually 74.18% of total imports. Top 10 countries to which Bangladesh is exporting. The countries are United States, Germany, United Kingdom, France, Spain, Italy, Canada, Belgium, Japan, Netherlands, and others. The growth rates have been given here. To US, it is 3.03% growth. To Germany, it's 19.13%. United Kingdom, it is 5.53%. France, 10.82%. Spain, 24.21%. Italy, 28.53%. Like that, so it's growing to most of the countries, actually. Some potential countries are there: Brazil, China, India, Japan, South Africa, and South Korea. With India, we have negative balance of trade. With China, our export has grown by 62.88%. And also with Japan, this is 14.90%. With South Korea, this is 37.65%. The major commodities which we are exporting to different countries of the world, starting from frozen food, agricultural product, tea, petroleum byproducts, chemical products, leather, raw jute, jute goods, handicrafts, knitwear, woven garments, engineering products, home textile, footwear, bicycle, cotton and cotton fabrics, ceramic products, computer services, other manufactured goods. We have a basket in which we have only few products to export to different countries of the world. Only 6 products actually make up 94% of the total export income of the country. Although we are exporting 729 products to 192 countries of the world, but our export basket is very narrow. Regarding investment in the export processing zones, I have given you some of the export processing zones. Actually, there are 8 export processing zones in the government sector, and up to now, investment is 3.188 billion. There are some export processing zones which are actually underway, and there are some special economic zones as well. One private economic zone is in operation in Chittagong of Bangladesh. The exports from the export processing zones are also mentioned here. In 2013-14, export from the export processing zones to various countries of the world actually stood at 5.53 billion US dollar. The export processing zones wise, we have given some export, and per month export is given. Employment has also been given. 389,017 people or workers have been employed in various export processing zones. And what is the benefit of investment in Bangladesh? Because Bangladesh is getting duty-free access for many products to various countries of the world. Like EU countries, 28 EU countries are giving duty-free access to various products to Bangladesh. Almost all the products except arms, ammunition, that is everything but arms. So there are 28 countries of the European Union which are giving duty-free access to the Bangladeshi products. Australia, New Zealand, they are also giving generalized system of preference facilities to Bangladesh. Japan is also giving us duty-free access under GSP scheme for all products except arms, ammunition, and leather hand gloves. Norway, Switzerland are also providing us duty-free access under GSP scheme. Canada is also providing us duty-free access under GSP scheme. India is giving us duty-free access for all the products except tobacco and drugs under SAFTA scheme. China has given us duty-free treatment for 4,788 products. South Korea is giving us duty-free access to 4,802 products. Thailand is giving us duty-free access for 229 products. Malaysia is giving us duty-free access for 297 products. And Chile is going to give us duty-free access for all products from the 1st of January 2015. So if an investor invests in Bangladesh, definitely they will be able to export the products to all those countries without any duty, and that's why their products will definitely be competitive compared to other countries. And some comments on Bangladesh. Different international organizations or authorities have branded Bangladesh as one of the emerging economies in the Asian continent. Goldman Sachs branded Bangladesh as in next 11 list after the BRICS nations. JP Morgan Chase commented Bangladesh, the country ranks 4th in growth in economically active population. Morgan Stanley has commented Bangladesh is at the very early stages of an investment boom. So different comments are there, and we understand that there is a huge potential for investment in Bangladesh. Now, why the investors should choose Bangladesh as an investment destination? It's because of the factors I have shown here. Low-cost labor force. The minimum wages for the laborers is 5,300 taka, which is equivalent to $69 per month. And with overtime, it is around $100 per month. Strategic location, I have already mentioned. Strong local market and growth, because Bangladesh has a population of 160 million people, and 30% of the population can afford to buy many things. So it's a market of 480,000 people at least. Proven export competitiveness. We are still competitive in terms of our price and quality compared to the regional countries, because cost of production in the regional countries has gone up. So we have stayed actually competitive. Competitive incentives. There are some incentives provided by the government for the foreign direct investors. Export and economic zones, as I have mentioned before, that there are 8 export processing zones in the government sector, and another 10 special economic zones are underway. And 1 private economic zone is in operation in Chittagong. So any investor can choose any of the zones actually. The demand for space in the government sector export processing zones is so high that we are going for vertical expansion of the infrastructure in those export processing zones. And positive investment climate is definitely there. And Bangladesh is one of the top exporters of ready-made garments to US and Europe. Risk factors of FDI are the minimum in Bangladesh, because Bangladesh has signed agreement as a member of the Multilateral Investment Guarantee Scheme, an overseas private investment corporation of USA, and Bangladesh has passed a law which is called Foreign Private Investment Protection and Promotion Act 1980. Bangladesh has never defaulted in its debt payments, not asked for their rescheduling. Bangladesh has an open market-based economy led by a vibrant and innovative private sector, which provides the main stimulus to its growth. It's a homogeneous country with no religious, ethnic, or other forms of cultural conflicts. Bangladesh has outstanding records in human rights. It's one of the largest contributors to UN peacekeeping forces and missions, and the records of the forces have been exemplary and laudable. Growing markets with innovative entrepreneurs offer greater business opportunities vis-a-vis old markets with stagnant demand and high taxes. Movement of capital to emerging markets, like the ones represented by countries of South Asia, is likely to be profitable with no added risk. Existing slacks in the economy of Bangladesh offer enormous opportunities of high return and low risk investments in infrastructures, utilities, manufacturing, and consumer goods industries. Large and lumpy investments against the backdrop would not be inflationary and would expand the productive capacity of the economy, offering a variety of new goods and services, which would further promote sustained economic growth and social development. Many international agencies have identified Bangladesh as one of the most promising locations for investment. I have already mentioned about that. Legal framework for foreign investment. Some of them I have already mentioned. The Foreign Private Investment Promotion and Protection Act 1980, the Bangladesh Export Processing Zones Authority of 1980, the Investment Board Act of 1989, the Companies Act of 1994, the Bangladesh Private Export Processing Zones Authority Act of 1996, the Import Policy Order 2012-2015, Export Policy 2012-2015, the Industrial Policy 2010, Policy and Strategy for Public-Private Partnership 2010, Special Economic Zones Act of 2010. Bangladesh is a signatory to the following agencies for protection of foreign private investment. I have mentioned before, International Center for Settlement of Investment Disputes, that is another organization to which Bangladesh has signed as its member. World Intellectual Property Organization, Bangladesh is a member of that. Now the facilities and incentives provided by the government of Bangladesh. 100% foreign equity is allowed in the export processing zones. Unrestricted exit of capital, full repatriation of facilities of dividend and capital at the event of exit. And without duty, the companies can import raw materials from abroad. Subcontracting within EPZs permitted, full serviced plots, ready factory building, all types of utilities, warehouse and secured bonded area, business support services, administrative services, customs clearance at plant site, workers' dormitory enclave, recreational amenities, 10% sales to domestic tariff area. So these are the facilities actually given by the government of Bangladesh, which is a very flexible policy of the government. I now stop here. Thank you very much for your patient hearing.
Thank you. Now our final representation will be made by Jetro. Please.
Can I use?
Yes, please.
Morning session was a very lively session. Afternoon session, speakers have sort of backward disadvantages in this regard, especially after the very good lunch. But anyway, I will try. Just 27 years ago, in 1997, then JETRO chairman, Mr. Akazawa, proposed the Established Promotion Forum, or ATPF. His goal was to encourage trade promotion organization in Asia to build a closer relationship and promote trade in this region. At that time, the number of members in the ATPF was just 10. Compared to that time, both around the world and in Asia, trade has increased almost 10 times in volume. However, what we need to highlight at the ATPF at this moment is not only the increased trade volume, but also the substantial change in the quality of trade. These days, many countries are involved in the process of producing a single product through its design, materials, parts, components, and assembly. Global value chains have been established across the world. Trade of major parts and components, such as for electronic appliances, engineering goods, and automobiles, account for almost 30% of all trade in 12 ATPF member countries and regions. And it will continue growing in the future. This was achieved thanks to the spread of production sites and foreign direct investment, or FDI. Trade related to investment is expanding. Today, trade is closely linked to investment. Based on this trend, trade promotion organizations, or TPOs in Asia, need to do more than just promote exports. We can cooperate more. We have more room to collaborate with each other. We also need to encourage the and facilitate investment and partnership with foreign companies. This is what I want to propose in today's meeting. I want to talk about two topics to give a quick overview of my proposals. One is what is JETRO doing in Japan in this context. Specifically, I will speak about the role JETRO is requested to play in Abenomics. In consideration of this role of JETRO, The other proposal is related to the new role TPOs need to take in each country and region. I'll begin with the first topic about JETRO's role in Abenomics. Japan's economic growth is back on track, thanks to Prime Minister Abe's economic policy called Abenomics, following 2 decades of economic stagnation. PowerPoint 4. As you may be aware, Abenomics consists of what is called 3 arrows, which represent bold monetary policy, flexible fiscal policy, and the growth strategy to encourage private investment. Under the 3rd arrow, the growth strategy, which I think the most important among these 3 arrows, Prime Minister Abe is at doubling FDI into Japan and increasing overseas expansion by Japanese companies. These are exactly the mission of JETRO. PowerPoint 5. The first mission is to support FDI into Japan. To do this, JETRO operates facilities called Invest Japan Business Support Centers, or IBSCs. Each of the IBSCs is a one-stop support center, providing various information and services to foreign companies interested in entry into Japan. Free rental temporary office spaces are also offered to foreign companies for 2 months. JETRO promotes inward FDI by approaching prospective overseas companies. To prepare a friendlier investment environment, we also make proposals to the Japanese government based on the needs of foreign companies, such as corporate tax reduction. PowerPoint 6. The second mission of JETRO is to support overseas expansion by Japanese small and medium-sized enterprises, SMEs. To illustrate the importance of this mission, I would like to make a comparison with Germany. Like Japan, Germany is a country with many SMEs. However, the rate of Japanese SMEs expanding overseas is extremely lower than those in Germany. The growth strategy of Abenomics sets a target of helping 10,000 new Japanese SMEs expand abroad over the next 5 years. PowerPoint 7, very complicated picture. I'm sorry for that. As I described, JETRO promotes both outward globalization, such as export and outbound FDI, as well as domestic globalization through inbound FDI and promotion of tourism. I'm certain that the DPOs need to examine how to be involved in these activities, both outward globalization and domestic globalization. Through these efforts, TPOs will significantly increase their influence in the economic policies of each government. We should use the ATFP to discuss and take on these proposals. From this view, I think that discussion about allowing investment promotion agencies, or IPAs, to join the ATFP is crucial. PowerPoint 8, regional economic integration in Asia through economic partnership agreement, or EPAs, is now coming to a major turning point. The TPP has been making substantial progress. It's very close to the finalization. Among these EPAs, RCEP, or the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, have the largest impact on the ATFP network. Making rules alone is not enough for trade and investment promotion. Enhancement of ATFP activities also need to be discussed in line with the progress of these EPAs. To contribute to the discussion, I would like to propose 3 activities to be addressed for the ATFP. Please find the illustration on the following 2 pages. JETRO's first proposal is ATFP supplier matching support scheme. To provide support by TPOs for companies entering ATPF member countries and regions. According to our survey of Japanese companies operating in Asia, difficulty of local procurement makes high on the list of issues to be tackled every year. One reason is a lack of information concerning local suppliers. Matching to find partners for procurement can be supported through information exchange among TPOs of each country and region. Secondly, I would like to propose the establishment of cooperation for assisting potential investor scheme. The essence of my proposal is described here. Ms. Ishii already mentioned about this, but I'd like to repeat it. An exporter in country A, for example, China, may establish sales or manufacturing base in country B, say Japan, to expand business. I don't know, representative of CCPIT likes it or not. Anyway, let me do it. Then it consult with the TPO in China, i.e. CCPIT. CCPIT shares information and introduces exporter to the TPO in Japan, that i.e. JETRO, with the permission of the exporter. JETRO provides consultation services to the exporter in China. Eventually, JETRO assists the exporter with setting up an office in Japan. The result of cooperation should be reported at the ATPF CO meeting with the permission of the exporter and the TPOs concerned. Actually, JETRO has already established such a scheme with several TPOs in Asia. Thirdly, I'm certain that participation of investment promotion agencies in the ATPF will allow it to continue to grow and become a more effective forum for trade promotion. These are my proposals. Thank you very much for your attention. Thank you very much.
So now, thank you for your good proposals. Now we have already had 3 presentations. Now it's time for questions and comments, discussions. Please raise your hand. So, Matrade, please.
Mr. Chairman, just following up on the last presentation from JETRO, the idea of having the business matching for suppliers, the first proposal, I think that would be a very effective means to match potential buyers and sellers, or even suppliers, to add on to what is already being done by probably other agencies in each country. As I mentioned, not all our countries have trade and investment in one agency, so it could add on to that equation. But with regard to cooperation in investment per se, the same principle will apply. Not necessarily the TPO is the focal point for investment in the related country. So that has to be taken into some consideration. And we also have investment promotion agencies that have been set up particularly for certain specific reasons. So you again may have an issue with this. We're not saying it's not good. I'm just saying that we are structured differently in our countries. So you may have 2 people, 3 people coming for that. Just my comments on the proposals.
You are, please, Thailand.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, sorry.
Sorry.
Yes, please.
All right, lady first. Thank you. Well, DITP, our function, we do not promote investment per se. I'm sorry, the microphone is not working. I was just saying that our office, the ITP, as the name suggests, we promote international trade. The function of investment promotion is with our Board of Investment, but the situation in the marketplace has forced our office to do this kind of work also, because in order to keep competitiveness in trading in the export sector, the Thai companies needed to go abroad, to invest abroad also, because we needed more labor, more raw materials, GSP privileges. All of these are no longer available as the economy of Thailand grows. So our offices abroad has been asked to also facilitate the Thai business sector to invest abroad, especially maybe in the beginning within ASEAN. Looking forward to the ASEAN Economic Community coming into force within the end of next year. What we have learned to be useful is cooperation within this meeting itself. We've learned a lot of things from colleagues who has maybe done more advanced, from more advanced economies, or done more promotional work in investment promotion. For example, JETRO. In Thailand, we have even the word JETRO model to promote investment abroad. Our private sector feels that JETRO has been doing such a good job that they are asking our government that our trade offices provide also similar information and assistance as JETRO is doing. I think